Hi, good morning. How is everyone today on this October 17th, Monday Matrix Work Week Day? What's going on, everyone? How are you? How was your weekend? Wow, it's October and I can really feel the autumn. It's all about pumpkins right now, and I'm considering Halloween, and am I going to be doing any parties? Of course I am, because I love costumes and celebrations and it's fun. So, how was everyone's weekend? Did you spend time outside in nature? We had some beautiful weather here in New York. This is Living in the Light. I'm Mary Amy, and I am all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. And so we're coming live from New York. I'm just 45 minutes outside of New York City. Where are you at? If you're joining us, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're coming from. So, oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I didn't even know. There was so many things going through my mind today, this morning. So I said, what are we going to talk about today? What are we going to? And you know what? I said to myself, I'm going to try to cram as much as I can in about some different topics that are kind of coming up and surfacing. Now, I don't know if you're aware of what's going on. We've all awakened who's joining us here. We've awakened. We've realized there's another reality. We've expanded our awareness. We've expanded our consciousness. Now, we're in the 5 dimension here. Does that mean we're in a new location? No, heck no. We are here. We just have a different mindset in this physical reality. We are not conformists. We are rebels. We are the rebels that don't create havoc out there. We're the rebels that believe there's another reality. We've broken out of the matrix, right? We're not going to be programmed anymore. Have you felt programmed? Have you felt compressed and squished? And what are your feelings and emotions? And we are tuning into all our senses. We're tuning into our intuitive skill set, our clear senses, because we all have them, right? So today we're going to cover topics like devotion, 5G technology. It's called GESARA and NESARA. I'm going to mention premonitions, of course, angels, psychic phenomenon, and I'm going to try to squeeze in a visualization. Well, let's just start with, what was your first thought of the day? When you woke up, what was your first thought? Is it like, oh my gosh, another day, it's Monday? Or are you thinking, something really exciting is about to happen to me? Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out there into the world, and get to my reality, the reality of my destiny. Are you going to reach out to your destiny? Are you going to make a quantum leap, a sudden burst of change? Are you going to bring it forward? Because you know what's going on now? We have all of these energies coming onto the earth because we are becoming awakened. Now, I've said over and over again, we've been at 10% awakened souls. Now we're headed to 90%. And when we reach 90%, are we going to be living in this new earth Gaia, heaven on earth, joy, joy, joy? Are there going to be angels? We're going to see angels, ascended masters, those who have passed. What's going to happen when we all reach the 5 dimension? Because we know that the matrix is in the dumpster, right? The programming, we're all so tired of that. It's like, I want my own thoughts. Now, do you know the difference between your thoughts and someone else's thoughts? If someone plants a thought in you, if you get a psychic attack, or if they program you. Now, there's a lot of different ways of receiving someone else's thought or some kind of technology thought. And we're going to get into that. And I'm concerned about that. I'm a little concerned about it. The more I'm getting into this and the more I'm seeing some of these videos. Let's just start with quickly, let's cover devotion. And you'll see why I'm going into that subject. So devotion is love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person, activity, or a cause. Now, you can have devotion about cherishing. You can have selfless affection. You can have dedication, loyalty, commitment. You can have devotion to yourself, to another, to God. And there's some benefits to devotion. You grow spiritually in your daily life, and you have a deeper understanding of yourself and peace. Now, it can be considered a kind of worship devotion, right? Like if you are I go to the church, I believe in God. That's entirely a personal decision. And so I worship God, Jesus Christ, the Virgin Mary, that kind of thing. Now, there's also this other thing that I'm realizing that is kind of surfaced. And was it around? Yes. There's this, I would say it's like a cult going on. It's a cult. And, when I think of cults, it has like a negative connotation, and it should, right? Because it's a kind of worship and devotion to a leader. And so usually, we have had some kind of historical cults where there's this one individual and then everyone worships, and it's kind of like this commune setting. It always seems to be, right? This commune setting where everyone is like sharing their money, and this one leader is telling everyone what to do. And sometimes it ends up very tragically, right? So a cult is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular person or object. And the reason I'm bringing up cult and devotion is, I'm starting to see. Now, I say I'm a rebel. And, maybe that's like an extreme term, but not really. It's more like I'm a rebel that has my own ideas, my own thoughts. And like I said, I believe in another reality than this physical reality that's out there. Well, conformists, those that are, there's many of those right now out in our 5D, in our physical reality. And those are the conformists that if someone in the community that's a leader is telling them to do something, they seem to just oblige. It doesn't seem like there's much of their own decision making. It's more like they're programmed to listen. And I'm starting to believe, I got a little panic attack saying that. I'm starting to believe that this is some kind of cult. Now, to me, what I'm seeing a lot of, okay, sure, I'll do that. Sure. If I'll go along with what everyone else is doing because everyone else is doing it. There's no personal power. There's nobody standing up for themselves saying, I don't want to do that. Because guess why? They want to be liked, and they don't want to be pointed out and noticed. They want to kind of be in the background and not like raising their hand. It's like when you're a kid, when you go to school, when you're a kid and you kind of come out into the world and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on out here, so many energies. So everybody's so loud and they want us to do everything. And so you get put into these education system and you go into these classrooms, and then the teacher says, okay, I have a question for everyone. And then some kids raise their hand very cautiously. Other kids are like, okay, me. Some kids don't raise their hands at all. I was one of those kids because you know what? I was a little nervous. I was a little scared because when you raise your hand, everyone's looking at you. And isn't that what's going on out here in the world right now? If you raise your hand and you say, you know what? I don't know if I agree with that. Hello? Anybody over there listening to me? You're not allowed to have your own decision making. You're not allowed to have your own free thinking or free will. And so I'm starting to believe that we're kind of living in a little bit of a cult. There's a little bit of a zombie factor going on. So a cult is usually a relatively small group of people. So it seems like there's small groups of people and they're all joining together and they're all agreeing on some of these big decisions. And they come and they're about some big stuff in your life. It's kind of a little bit life or death. And it's not really small little decision making. And so it seems like we're kind of living in a cult in 2022. Now, it's relatively small originally. Okay. Now you can also take on the idea, when sometimes you maybe have low self-confidence or self-esteem and you get into a relationship that's kind of toxic, and it might be male male, female male, or female female. It might be friends, it might be a intimate romantic relationship, and now this might come in the form also of family. And so you might get into a relationship and you start to feel like all of your thoughts are not considered. You're not allowed to express yourself. And it starts to take on some kind of like abuse of relationship, right? And then you're kind of having to lose all your friendships, and it's just you and this one person, and you're supposed to worship them, or you're supposed to love and cherish them no matter what happens, those kinds of things. And so you start to lose your identity. And when you're in a relationship like that, you start to not have your own thoughts. And here we go, back with our own thoughts. All of it seems to kind of circling back to the same subjects. Do we have our own thoughts? Are we being programmed? So, are we living in an abusive relationship and it's cult like? So, these practices by others seem to be strange or sinister. There seems to be some kind of evil that's risen up. And now I've said to you, hi, Alexander Morel. Thanks for joining us. So you're coming from New York as well. Anyone who's joining us, please share in the chat. Tell us where you're coming from. And, today we're covering topics like devotion, 5G technology, premonitions, and GESARA NESARA. And so like I said, I'm trying to kind of, it's seeming like we're circling back to kind of the same information, but not really. We're touching on different topics. So I started by talking about and sharing about what devotion is: love and loyalty and faithfulness to something or someone. And then I've started in a devotion. Now, that can be really positive if you're having your own thoughts and your own beliefs. It's when we get into this kind of space where we're kind of crossing over into worshiping maybe some kind of person or, sinister thing. And we're finding, out in this world, in this physical matrix, this physical reality. Now I've risen, and I know a lot of you have ascended to the 5 dimension. And some of the time, but we have to kind of have part of us that go to the lower vibrational to exist in the matrix, because the matrix is all kind of robotic, and we're in these systems of health and medical and education and government, and now it's technology. And we're in the 5 dimension. We kind of have to kind of exist in the 3-dimensional part of the time because we have to survive. We have these needs. There's something called money, and we have to pay our bills, so we have to live there. But we are creating a new reality. We're creating heaven on earth. So are we living in a cult? Is there a cult around us? Are these zombies? Are those beings out there just following and conforming in this illusion because they want to be liked? Maybe they have come to a place where they don't really have much fight left in them. We've kind of been beat up a little bit. And so we have been programmed to follow the leader. Now, how are you going to reach that destiny? Do you have your eye on that prize? What is your destiny? Have you written your 5 humongous goals down? Is your destiny one of those? And when I say, what is your destiny? It's probably the utmost beautiful, amazing dream, desire that you have, something that you've always imagined in front of you. And you've said, oh, well, it's going to take me 20 years. Wait, hold on, maybe 30 to get there. No, absolutely not. It's all about your thoughts. Thoughts are very powerful. They're a vibration. You can quantum leap to your destiny. So I say keep your eye on the prize, right? Now, if I have my destiny and you have your destiny and this person has their destiny and we all have our own destiny, how can we conform? We can't. We have to have our own belief system, our own thoughts. We have to leave that thought attachment sack on the side of the road. Cut it off. It's taking life out of you. You're pumping life into these old attachments, these old beliefs. They're not yours. How many of your own thoughts are there going on right now? Well, if you're joining us, probably you've awakened. So you're ascending. So more of your heart and spirit are coming online. Are you feeling like you're going through some kind of morphosis to another version of you, a better version of you? And so I'm just going to leave it that let's just have discernment. Let's look out there, and when we pull out of the driveway, we're going right or left. And so are we going to join this cult in this matrix? Are we going to part of it? No. I say let's leave. Let's leave. Now, are they going to be trying to grab onto you? Yes. And that's how we're getting into the 5G technology. So 5G technology, we've all heard about it. What is it exactly? It's telecommunications. It's technology. It's broadband cellular networks. And so 5G technology, I'm starting to hear it's cropping up again. They're speaking of it again. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I'm wondering about it now. Now, there was this real heavy emergency demand that we all have technology. Why? Why do we have to have such great technology? Well, it can serve us. It can benefit us when we're doing like what we're doing right now, which is I'm doing a live video. Maybe it can serve us because of our cell phones, right? Our cell phones. Maybe it can serve us for our career, for our work. And so this 5G technology began in 2019, and it's for connectivity to most cell phones. So 1.7 billion subscribers, 25% of worldwide, use mobile technology, 5G technology. And so it's supposed to make everything faster. But I have a little concern about this. I have a little concern about 5G technology because it's so powerful and it's so intense on our systems. And like I say, we're fragile systems. We have this vessel that we're living in, right? And so we're born here. And so we have all of these wonderful, lovely senses. We have our 5 senses plus our 6th sense, right? And we're capable of telepathy. We're capable of being clairvoyant, clairaudience, clairsustenance, empathic. And so I start to wonder, here we have this beautiful being that we are. And we're capable of so much. We're highly advanced. However, we are fragile beings of light. And so is this 5G technology serving us in one way, but is it damaging us in another? So maybe 5G technology promises improved performance, faster Wi-Fi browsing, streaming, downloads, but are there health risks? Is there an increased exposure to radio frequencies and electromagnetic fields and radiation dangers? And they don't mention that, do they? Why? Why aren't they mentioning that? Is there one more motivation for 5G technology? Isn't it interesting, the rollout of 5G technology and some kinds of the things that have been going on in the last 2.5 years? Isn't it kind of interesting? It's all the same timing? What is that about? Just bringing some awareness. So exposing us to 5G technology, which was never tested on beings. I don't know if you know that. It was never tested. It was never tested on anyone. So how do they know if there's going to be any kind of radiation damage to us? So 5G wavelengths, which are these cell towers outside, and this technology, it's emitted into our skin, and our skin will automatically absorb it. And so electromagnetic radiation changes your DNA structure. Aha! Well, there we go. Isn't that the answer right there? It will change your DNA structure of living things. It kills off your cells and it causes cancer. And aren't I hearing about cancer lately? And aren't we hearing about people just having heart attacks? Is any of this connected? Huh. What is Jared saying? I'm literally 50 feet underneath a 5G on top of my building. Okay, so let me share with you. Jared, I'm going to look at my little list here. You're coming from Boston, Mass. We have New York. We have Boston, Mass. We have New York City. Wow. Here we go. Who else is here with us today? Who's joining us? We're speaking of 5G technology, and we already covered cults and devotion. And so we're discussing 5G technology. So 5G technology, is it dangerous? I want to tell you, I want to share with you. So before I lived here, I lived right next to exactly what you just said. I lived right next to a telephone pole that had, well, actually, there was more than one. There was a few, and it was all of them connected, all of the technology, all of the 5G right outside my window. And can I tell you, living right next to all of that, I felt like I was a raw nerve. I never felt settled. I felt like I was hypersensitive all the time. And I felt like I could feel it like frying me every day I woke up. And so I lived there for, I guess it was 2 or 3 years. And now I'm living in a very off from the road, shaded place. And I don't feel that same kind of like being a raw nerve, like I felt very much like sizzling, or I don't even know how to describe it. I just felt very exposed, is what I'd like to say. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and tell us where I'm coming from. So how are you feeling, Garrett, living right next to that? And do you have to live right next to that? It's kind of a little bit alarming to me. So this 5G, is 5G are 5G towers dangerous? And I kind of want to say very much I believe so. And so I'm starting to wonder because, and I'm going to get into further where I'm going with this, I'm starting to see and I'm starting to hear more and more. I'm hearing, and I don't watch the news, so it's not on the news. I'm hearing from people I know, I'm seeing in social media, I'm seeing on YouTube videos, I'm seeing on Twitter about people that are seeing some kind of, they turn and they're starting to wave their arms and they act as though they're seeing something very demonic or scary, and then they're dying, they're having a heart attack. And so I'm saying to myself, if this is one of two things, this is a real thing that's happening, or these are videos that are being made up to put fear into us. And I don't want fear, and I'm not trying to engage with fear right now. We are fearless rebels. We have personal power. I'm just making us aware of what's going on because, as I'm going to get into premonitions, there's warning signs. There's alerts before something is about to happen, right? An event. And so are these warning signs? Now, I want to bring up, I don't know if you've ever seen this movie called The Manchurian Candidate. And it was made in 1962. And the lead actress just passed away. I'm trying to remember her name. Was she Irish or English or Scottish? And that was in 1962. And more recently in 2004, which was still quite a bit ago, with Meryl Streep, it was a remake. And The Manchurian Candidate is about the political influence. A woman with political influence pushes her son into a role as a presidential candidate, a contender. And so during this remake, if you want to watch this, nanotechnology is part of it. Now, this was 2004. So in the film, there was this man, and he was part of a platoon. He was the son of this woman, and it comes out that he killed his platoon. And we find out that he was inserted in his back with nanotechnology. So he was manipulated into doing this evil act. And so I'm bringing up nanotechnology, and I'm bringing up the fact that we have this nanotechnology and we have this 5G, and are the two crossing over and the two combining, causing some kind of problems in our world? So Garrett writes, I have to do the right thing. I have to do right now. I've been throwing up since I've been here, but I can't live under a... Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Garrett. That's horrible. That's so horrible. Wow. Can you find a new place to live? Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that, is there some kind of treatment for this 5G? We'll have to look into that. Or is there something you can do to prevent yourself from receiving the radiation? So in this movie, in the Manchurian Candidate, this remake, nanotechnology is inserted in the back of this man, and he basically becomes like a robot. Like it guides him into doing evil acts. And so the concepts that have succeeded nanotechnology were first discussed in 1959 by Richard Feynman in his talk. And there's plenty of room at the bottom of which he described the possibility of synthesis via direct manipulation of atoms. So nanotechnology is about from the ground up. It's about from the ground up the manipulation of atoms. And so the term nanotechnology, which we've been hearing in the last 2.5 years, is nanoparticles, nanotechnology. Some of this medical has nanotechnology. And so I'm wondering about the nanotechnology and the 5G, and these people are waving their hands and then they're having heart attacks. Are they related? I'm just throwing it out there. Does anyone have any input on this? And so nanotechnology was just used by Norio Taniguchi in 1974, inspired by Feynman's concepts. K. Eric Dreiler used the term nanotechnology in 1986 book, Engines of Creation, The Coming Era of Nanotechnology. And so we're hearing about nanotechnology when they're talking about inserting in our brain chip, maybe inserting in our wrist. They're saying, oh, here, ID yourself with a chip. And in this movie, The Manchurian Candidate, he had nanotechnology in his back. And what did he do? He was like a robot. Interesting. We're kind of circling back to all this conformist, all this cult. Is this another way of control? Is this another way of mind control? Or is this another way of dominance? Now, who's coming up with all of this? I mean, can technology be used in a better way? I mean, so the era of nanotechnology, which proposed the idea of nanoscale, an assembler which would build a copy of itself and of another, items of arbitrary complexity of atom control. So it's about control. It's about atoms. It's about restructuring our DNA. So governments have funded and promoted research. Are we surprised? No. So it's fine. I have angels and gods to protect me, to put on the armor of God. Can't afford it right now. Meditate. Yes. Oh, well, I'm so happy for you. Yes, angels. Let's mention angels right now. So angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth to protect us. They are celestial beings. They are benevolent. They're non-gender. They're immortal. They come from the heavens to earth. I've shared with you that I've seen, in the angelic realm, I've seen inside this tower. And inside this tower, there's shelves of angels. And these angels are perched on these shelves. And they are here as protectors for humanity. They guide us. They're messengers of God. Now, if you've ever had a near-death experience, you might have entered the light. And when you're passing over, an angel will meet you, and they will take you to wherever your intended destiny at that point. And so angels are beautiful beings of light. So thanks for sharing that, Garrett. Thank you so much. And so, we have been undergoing a spiritual war. And so that's why I'm bringing up some of these topics, because I know that there is some kind of secret government. There's a secret government, and this secret government has secret projects. We hear about, Project Bluebeam, Project Paperclip, Project Mockingbird, the secret space program. And so we hear about this secret government. And so this government of black hats and Mr. Smiths, Agent Smiths, they are out there and they have their own agenda. And so we're finding, as we move forward, and we're learning, and all of this information is rising up. And that's why people are becoming awakened, because they're realizing these elites that are running our governments, all the governments all over the globe, they have their own agenda. Now, are they attempting to depopulate? Are they attempting to exterminate us? Is that what their purpose is? And why are they doing that? Because they say there's not enough resources, because it's about controlling us. Now, is it their way? Is nanotechnology their way of controlling us? Because we all have arms here in the United States. There's other countries that don't have guns. We have guns here in the United States. So is this their way of controlling us? The masses follow. Because, I remember when it was such a big deal, when Steve Jobs came out with the iPhone and all this iPhone technology. But I have to tell you that I had a dream last night. And my dream was all about hiding. And we were in the country, and we were in these homes, and they were homes that had been left behind, but they were all equipped with everything. And I remember we were hiding inside these homes. They were deserted, and the only way that they could find us was through technology. So our phones offer, maybe we think like, oh, wow, it's so great, we can communicate with our phone. And oh my goodness, However, our phone is a way for us to be kept track of. It's a way of controlling us. And is it a way that nanotechnology and 5G is turning on and it's going to sabotage us? Are we sabotaging ourselves with our phones? In my dream, it's basically said, and that's why I got into nanotechnology today. It said that technology is going to harm us. Was it a premonition? Was this dream I had a premonition last night? Is nanotechnology and 5G technology going to harm us? Because, our smartphones, our smart TVs, our smart homes, what's going on? It's a way of really having a camera on us and keeping a view of all of what we're saying, what we're doing, what we're buying. But if we're being inserted with nanotechnology into our bodies, and maybe we're giving permission, is it a way to harm us? Is it a way to control us, like in the movie The Manchurian Candidate? Because a premonition, a foreboding, a strong feeling that is something about to happen. I'm sharing with you, I'm sensing something is about to happen. Be aware. Now, do I say bring fear into yourself? No, I'm not saying that, because fear, when you have fear, you lose your power. Because what happens when we have fear? When we have fear, we freeze up, we hold our breath, we hang on. Fear is a low vibrational frequency. When you have fear about anything, it's going to harm you. It's a way of blocking you from your destiny. We're on the path to our destiny. So I'm not saying have fear. I'm saying be aware. Masons, right? The Freemasons. The Illuminati, I'm saying it, the Freemasons. All of these elitists have come together and they're trying to control everyone. They're trying to take them to their own, they're puppeteers, and we're puppets. Are you a puppet? Are you a puppet? Are your mind your thoughts your own? Are your thoughts your own? Are you going to follow the masses? Now, we're awakening. So as we're awakening, what's happening? We're realizing that maybe those out there don't have our best intentions. Are they looking out for us? I don't think so. I don't think so. Why is that? Because it doesn't serve what they want. And they don't really care about us. They don't care about human life. It's about harvesting our energy. Hi, Raymond. Thanks for joining us. So we have Raymond from Thailand. We have Garrett from Mass. We have Alexandra from New York. We have me. I'm in New York. And everyone who's liking the video, thank you so much, and for subscribing to the channel. So I've kind of shared with you where I'm going with all of this. So be aware. 5G technology. Hey, Deanna from Michigan. Thanks for joining us. So be aware, be aware of this cult mentality. Now, I know we said cults are usually a small group, being part of a cult, and there's this devotion to this figure or object. And so there's this cult that's kind of like flowing through the air out there, isn't it? Aren't you seeing some cult-like behavior going on where everyone's conforming and like, oh, did you do that? Oh, I did it. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I'm so proud of everything I did. Where's your own decision making? Where's your own free thinking? Hello, aren't we born into believing that we have free thought? I don't know. Well, if you're a creative soul, if you're someone who's maybe a little artistic, or you're very much into your feelings and emotions, maybe you have a little bit more free thinking going on. And if you've awakened, so how did you awaken? You've woken up and you've said, this is a beautiful earth. We're all going to leave our homes and hug each other. We're not going to have any more divide. This divide that they're creating in this political system. What is that for? Crisis, 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 crisis. You turn on the TV. It's like fear, fear, fear. How about if we go out and we just say, what's our destiny? We can't control anything out here. We can only control this, our thoughts, words, and actions. And so how do we create a beautiful world, a beautiful earth through our thoughts? So when I'm thinking and you're thinking and she's thinking and he's thinking and we're all thinking the same, we have collective consciousness, we have unity, and we are creating heaven on earth. And so this nanotechnology that's out there right now, these governments have funded and promoted nanotechnology. It's called the U.S. National Nanotechnology Initiative. It's funding for research. So it's producing roadmaps which center on atomically precise manipulation of matter. That's the technological term. And so it's the engineering of functional systems at a molecular scale, molecular. This covers both current work and concepts that are more advanced. So it's a construct of items from the bottom up. Nanoparticles get into the body and damage DNA and cells. So I'm just bringing this all up, making us all aware of this because we have free thinking here at Living in the Light. And I'm Mary Amy, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your true potential, and cracking open the beautiful glowing light in your heart. And I'm all about bringing up topics to make us aware. It's not about fear, because what is fear going to do? Fear is going to stop our heart rate. We're going to hold our breath, and it's going to block us from our destiny. So we want to be fearless. And what are our mantras here in Living in the Light? I am strong, I am brave, I'm courageous, and I am patient, right? So if today you woke up and you said, you know what? Your first thought was, oh, I don't want to open my eyes. I want to just sleep. Maybe you're tired. Or maybe you just say, the world out there is a scary place. And it is. They're promoting satanic rituals. They're promoting demonic stuff and worshiping Satan and Lucifer. So we want to be aware of that because we want to know that kind of energy is all about fear-based. It's about hate. It's about harming others. We're coming from a place of love here. We want to wake up in the morning and we want to imagine in front of us, if we could see it written out in front of us, we want to imagine, I love my life. I love myself. I want peace on earth. I want to spend time in nature, and I want to reach my destiny. And that's where we're headed towards here. It's all about loving yourself, having self-love, loving others, having forgiveness, finding out what your mission is and your purpose here. And so as we awaken, we are going to find out more about ourselves, because when we were incarnated on this new earth, Gaia, we had all the information inside of us. And so now our DNA is coming online, which means all of your clear senses and all of your psychic abilities are going to become more evident. Oh, we're getting some comments here. Deanna, do you think I'm having psychic attacks when I fall asleep, keep having dreams where I'm saving people from demonic forces? Well, I don't, psychic attacks. I think what's going on there is you're in the astral realm and you are a warrior. And so you are there to save others. So there's others out there, other beings whose energy is being harvested, and so you're saving them. And so do I think they're psychic? I think they're psychic attacks to those other beings. And maybe it's trying to scare you, but if you're saving them, then you're actually on the other side of it. Because when you have love in your heart, you cannot be touched. We all have our own decision making. And so I bring this up because evil cannot harm you unless you give it permission. So when we go to sleep at night, I say, love, 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 love. Be in love, and you won't have any kind of evil energies coming at you, dark forces, black hats, anything that wants to harm you cannot harm you when you're in love. Now, if you sense you're having a psychic attack, which means something evil's coming at you, and it usually looks very scary, and its energy is scary, what you want to do is you don't want to run from it. You want to say to it, I'm going to hug you and I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you. And it runs away. If you have any kind of, like Deanna said, any kind of demonic forces coming at you, like demons or negative energy, hey, Joe Hollywood, you want to send it love. How do I know this? Because I've experienced it. This is coming from me, personal experiences. I've been having this happen to me for years, and I've realized the only way to deal with it is to go at it with love, because it wants fear. It wants to scare you. It will come in the scariest form. So Joe Hollywood's joining us today, and he is coming from Boulder, Colorado. Wow. Okay, so you will almost completely not sweat anymore if you avoid radiation successfully, which I have done. Really, I've done that. That's why I'm asking. Oh, you have done that. You've gone to bed with love, 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 Deanna. Okay, so how is that done, Joe? So you've gone to bed with love. Well, I would say that you're actually there to protect. So you have a stronger energy because you're awakened. You're an awakened being of light. And so you're probably in the 5 dimension. And so you are coming from a place that you have the capabilities. You're a warrior and you're protecting humanity. And so good. Thank you, Deanna, 333. What does that angelic number 333 mean? Someone look that up, 333. 333, yeah, 333. You know what number's been kind of consistent with me is 222 and 888. So there's meanings for angelic numbers, angel numbers. Yes, Deanna. So Deanna, in Michigan. Wow, so we have Michigan, we have Colorado today, we have Boston, Mass, we have New York. See, we're all light workers and we're sending light onto the earth. Here we are. So I'm just putting it out there to be aware of this damage. Yeah, 1111. That nanoparticles, nanotechnology, they say nanoparticles are in they're shooting out into the atmosphere. We'll touch on that for a second. And I'm reading about geoengineering, which is when they are changing our weather. And they've been able to do this for years and years. I mean, I think during one of the wars, they said they did it. So it's been around a long time. See, really what's going on here is a lot of technology we think is sci-fi, or not me, but others think, in the Matrix, in the cult, in the zombies. And, I shouldn't say zombies because that's so negative, because I want good things for everyone and I love everyone. But I'm just saying, in the Matrix, the programming, they believe that there's just really like, oh, this is such amazing technology, this phone. Meanwhile, if this was really good technology, do you think they'd be sharing it with us? Because like I said, there's the secret government. Do you think the secret government would be sharing this unless they were going to gain something by it? Heck no. Heck no. They wouldn't share this. This is for their benefit. They think, oh, and they're probably saying, oh, those programmed beings, they just think how wonderful it is. Oh, I'm being, they think how wonderful it is that they have all this social media. Meanwhile, social media is a way for them to keep track of us, what we want, and what we like, and it's a way of mind control, programming. It's all connected. This technology that's out there, really, the secret space program. I mean, last week we covered UFOs, and there's the secret space program has the TikToks and the black triangles, and they can move instantaneously, and the velocity is out of this world, how fast they can move, and they can go underwater and in the air. And so technology, we don't even realize how behind the times we are. Did we land on the moon? Joe Hollywood, silver fiber clothes, not cheap, but it's the best way. Many 5G protection methods can work too, to a certain extent. Yes, I've heard about that. And I think that maybe that's a recommendation for Jared. Jared, are you using any of that, the 5G protection? So moving on from all of this stuff that we've just been talking about, and I'm just really trying to be here for hope and light, and make and all of us become more and more aware, because as everyone awakens, and maybe they awaken because they see something that it just boggles their mind, and so they start to look around out in the physical reality. Or maybe they have a spiritual awakening. Maybe you just meditate and you have reached a higher consciousness, and you've ascended to another realm. And so you start to have a spiritual awakening, some kind of mystical experience. Maybe God touched your soul and you've woken up, and you say, wow, you know what? This is heaven on earth. And you come from a new mindset, and you made more room in your brain, and you realize there's another reality out there. So anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. So what is GESARA NESARA? Because we're headed into the hour, and we have so much still to cover. So GESARA NESARA, I've been hearing that over and over again. Do you know what that is? That's about taking out the banking system, and that's about canceling all personal debt. Have you heard about this? And they're saying, I'm hearing, I hear, it's like the floodgates open, and I hear there's going to be an alien invasion, or I hear, the mothership is going to show itself. There's going to be a disclosure. Let's see, what else is there? There's going to be a prophet that saves us, a savior. And I always say, we have to save ourselves. Hello. We are so gifted, and we have such abilities, and we're highly advanced beings of light. We don't need anyone to save us. We don't need an alien, aliens to come down, ETs, and save us. We don't need some kind of savior. We can save ourselves. That's how it's going to happen here. And so as we awaken, we realize the pandemic traveled so fast. What do you mean that's how it traveled so fast, Joe Hollywood? Please explain yourself. I don't know what you mean. So GESARA NESARA is this theory, this bill, that it's about canceling all personal debt, abolishing the Internal Revenue Service, and declaring world peace, and requiring new presidential and congressional elections. Wow, doesn't that sound like a beautiful idea? Woohoo! I want GESARA NESARA, do you? And they're saying this is possibly coming. This might be an event that's coming in the future. It might be coming. Maybe we'll quantum leap to it, and which means there'll be no IRS. There'll be no taxes. There'll be no credit card debt. There'll be no monetary debt. There'll be new elections. And then we'll have world peace. That sounds wonderful. When can I get in line for that? Hello? I'm going to buy it. I want a ticket to that. Sounds like a ticket to freedom. And so where did this come from, this whole concept of GESARA and NESARA? Have you heard of this GESARA and NESARA? They're saying it a lot lately. I'm hearing about it all the time, literally all the time. So that's why I'm bringing it up. So it came from Harvey Francis Bernard. And so he came up with this, the draining of the swamp and monetary fiscal policy reform in 1996. Deanna, I want a ticket too. And so it's based on the theory that debt is the main economic factor inhibiting the growth of the economy. Well, isn't that the truth? And the compound interest, the number one immoral evil and reason for debt. So NESARA Institute in 2001, the National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act. And so GESARA NESARA would mean that we cancel all personal debt and we'd have no credit card debt and we'd have a new election and we'd have world peace. Oh my gosh, I want to be there. Is that where we're headed? Is this an event that's coming? Is this the next thing? What do you think? So Bernard, this man, Harvey Francis Bernard, came up with this concept, this theory. He proposed by canceling all personal debt, abolishing the Internal Revenue Service, and declaring world peace. And we were realign with a new presidential and congressional election. So what do you think? Is that possible? Where are you going, Deanna? She's going to GESARA and NESARA. We all want a ticket to this. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and share in the chat where you're coming from and whatever ideas and beliefs you have, because we're all about free will, free thought. So from this GESARA and NESARA, there was an individual, and her name was Shani Candace Goodwin, and she was known as the Dove of Oneness. And she started posting about this, and she pursued posting info about the NESARA bill. And she said, white knights struggling to implement this law are interdimensional beings helping to pass. So she believed, same place as Mary. It's where we believe it is, quantum leap. Yes, we're going to quantum leap to this. We are. You know why? Because we're the power of thought. So we're all going to think, GESARA, NESARA, GESARA, NESARA. Can we sleep about it, dream about it, talk about it? GESARA, NESARA. So this woman took Harvey Francis Bernard's concept and theory of GESARA and NESARA, which is to take away the IRS, which is to have a new presidential election, which is world peace, get rid of all credit card debt. And she started posting about this NESARA bill. And she said, white hats, white knights struggling to implement this law are interdimensional beings helping to pass. So NESARA was suppressed by George Bush, allegedly, and the Supreme Court. GESARA and NESARA cancels all credit cards, mortgages, and bank debt. And I think that sounds wonderful. So it would go back to sharing gold resources. And so I don't know. What do you think? Is this a possibility in the future, this GESARA and NESARA? I would like that way more than 5G technology, which harms our DNA and nanoparticles and nanotechnology. I would prefer GESARA, NESARA. And I'm saying it a lot because they say our words are like, an energy and a vibration, and I'm putting it out there as much as I can because I would like to get rid of all credit card debt and all kinds of the IRS, take that away. So let's get into now our intuitive senses. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Mary, and this is Living in the Light. I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. So have you had any premonitions lately? And the reason I'm bringing this up is the more that we have educated ourselves and the more that we have been to earth school, telepathy school, we realize how important it is to tune into our senses, because our senses will guide us. You know, we've said that there's some kind of instinctual ability that we have when we get into some kind of scary situation. Do you think it's our mind? No, our senses take over. Our senses are very important, and we were not allowed to really tune into them. They were like, here's some medication, or be quiet, shh, shh. Oh, I don't want to hear. Oh, shh. No talking, no opinions, no expressing yourself. Here's a book. I want you to memorize everything in this book and then repeat it back. You weren't allowed to express yourself. You weren't allowed to have your own opinions. You weren't allowed to have free thought. We can all have premonitions. A premonition might come through in a dream. A premonition might come through. You might be talking to someone and all of a sudden you receive some kind of information. We've spoken about our impressions from another source. It's something you're supposed to receive. Everything that happens throughout your day, you're supposed to receive. Messages, signs, symbols. Are you receiving any premonitions? Now, I believe that I receive, and I've known to have premonition dreams. So I come in contact with someone. Now, this is all come online, our senses, right? As we create our ball of light, as we tune into our senses, we close our eyes, we let out a breath, we make contact with our senses, we concentrate, so we tune into our hearing, and we want to hear beyond the walls of the room, our smell, our taste, our touch, our hearts. As we tune into all of this, we will receive more and more impressions from another source. And we spoke of the other day, remote viewing. Are you seeing in your mind's eye? Have you cracked open your third eye, your mind's eye? And how do you do that? You can do that through visualizations. You can do that through practicing your intuitive skill set. You can do that through tuning into all of your senses. So we all are able to have these premonitions. So it's a feeling, a foreboding, a forewarning, an anticipation. Now, maybe you might have a premonition. It might be something dangerous that's about to happen. Maybe you'll have a premonition. It's just something that you're supposed to do. Like, it might be you receive information like, don't forget your glasses. You're going to need them later in the day. Like, I have a lot of premonitions that are related to something it's like my sixth sense is warning me, like, Mary, do this before you leave. Or, it's a different way of driving that day. Or it's literally preventing me from harm. So you might have a premonition. It might be about something related to your life. You might have a premonition related to someone else's life. And so how does this premonition come through? Well, it's going to come through a mental picture. It might come through a sensation, like you'll feel like, oh, and it might come through like a little panic attack even. Sometimes a panic attack, I have them before something dangerous is about to happen, or my senses are so far ahead of me that it's something that hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen sometime during my day. Now, if you're very, very open, we talk about tuning in. If you're very, very open your senses, and you're channeling many, many different realms. You've tuned in. You might receive premonitions prior to Mercury in retrograde, a full moon. You might have premonitions about an impending death of someone, someone who's going to pass. Like sometimes if I hear someone knows someone ill, someone in their family or a relative, they'll mention them and I'll immediately get a premonition. Oh, I got a headache from that. I get a premonition about if that person's going to be okay, maybe something medically they need to do. So that's what I receive. So last night, I believe I had a premonition, and I shared that with you earlier. So a premonition is something that a clairvoyant, a clairaudient being, like what we're working on, is able to experience. It's a sudden dream. So you might be in a dream-like state, a lucid dream before you wake up or before you go to sleep. It might be during your dream state, sleeping. It might be something that happens throughout your day. A premonition is going to protect you. So take note, like I always say, how important it is. So Joe Hollywood, what did you write? Crystalline energies can and hopefully will replace the electrical power. Yes, I believe it will. Right now we're operating with technology like this, but we have technology within our systems that is coming online. Yes, Joe Hollywood, you're absolutely correct. And so those are bad frequencies. Now, here's my puppy dog Elsa over here. You can't really see her. She's right here on this little pillow. Now, we've mentioned that animals sense frequencies, and those frequencies exist. It's just that we don't realize them because we haven't really tuned into our senses like animals have. And so those frequencies are coming at us as well. Like my puppy dog will hear something way before we do. If someone's, and they might be a block away. She might hear another puppy dog. She might hear someone that's a block away coming up my road or up my driveway, or they're in their car, and she can sense it without even a sound that we can hear, but they can hear. They have very strong senses of hearing, and I think they have other senses that are going on, their sense of feeling. And as we ascend and we become completely in the 5th dimension and the 6th dimension, we will realize that this crystalline light that Joe Hollywood's referring to is going to take over. We've been carbon-based. And so as you have ascension symptoms, you're going to feel as though your body's going through some kind of morphosis, some kind of change, a transition. You're transforming, you're evolving into the best version of you. Now, if you were nurtured when you were born, maybe you already have some of this going on. You didn't need the light coming onto the earth. You didn't need to be awakened. You were already awakened from the time you were born, and you were never crushed. You were nurtured properly and loved. You had unconditional love. And that's why love is so important. And I say that because when we give ourselves unconditional love and we love others, we're actually bringing more of ourselves, more fluid onto this earth. And so we are going to be literally superpowers. We are going to be superpowers. I spoke about ionic powers. And so there's ionic powers that you can have. And, you've seen them in these movies, these films. And they've changed metabolically their body, like Spider-Man or Thor or some of this Batman. They metabolically changed themselves. And so we are going to have these ionic powers. Now, maybe it's going to take 5 to 10 years, but as we come online, we're going to realize, hi, Hamano, we're going to realize that we have this within us. So you are going to have premonitions. The more you tune into your clairsenses, maybe it'll be a dream, maybe it'll be a vision, Maybe it will be an impression. I don't know if you've ever heard of Joan of Arc. She had visions, she had premonitions when angels came to her and they shared with her her destiny, her future. And these angels came to St. Joan, and then she went on and she battled and went to war for England, and she had these premonitions. And in her day she was probably just really a clairvoyant, and she had these abilities since she was a child. And so we can ourselves discover this within us. So let's see, Deanna, I heard horrific accident and seen a young man. I thought it was my kid, and he was traveling. It ended up being the cousin. He ended in a bad accident. Was this a dream that you had, Deanna? Did you have a dream like that? Was this your dream? Or was that a premonition you're saying? You had a premonition. Well, Deanna, you are a multidimensional being of light, and you have obviously encountered your clairsenses and you're very in tune with them. So our clairsense will allow us to have keen observations. So let's tune into our clairsenses right now. And let's tune into, what are we hearing? What are we receiving? And an impression might come through as a vision, an impression might come through as a sensation. And so, we spoke of around us, we have this energy field. Maybe you're going to end up like I am, where I see in my third eye, my mind's eye, exactly the last event to happen to someone, or their spirit animals, or symbols that come through. Maybe it comes through as an entity, an angelic being, maybe a spirit. I don't know. Meditation. Through meditation, you saw that. So that was remote viewing, maybe for you, Deanna? I heard horrific accident, seen a young man. I thought it was a kid that was traveling, ended up being my cousin. Okay, so you had a premonition. It was like remote viewing, so you saw it. Interesting. Wow, I'm so sorry that happened. I'm very sorry. Yeah, so during meditation, if you go into a deep meditative state, you might be able to connect to another realm. Maybe that's how you will have a spiritual awakening. So let's leave the matrix fully. Let's stay in the fifth dimension. Let's stay here in the fifth dimension for as long as we can. And yes, it takes energy, because we have to stay in love. We have to stay in light and forgiveness, and we have to send love to others. It's service to others. The path, the law of one, the path, service to others, not service to self. So if you are, I'm not sure what to call it. Yeah, I would say that it was a premonition dream, or it was remote viewing. So if you have 95% of your thoughts and actions are for yourself, me, more stuff for me. Give me more stuff. It's all about all your stuff. It's all about servicing you. Then you're probably on service to self. So that's why you're in the matrix. But if you're service to others, which is 51% of your thoughts and actions are about service to others, like helping out others, sending love to others, being kind and compassionate, then you probably are service to others. And so that's why you're in the fifth dimension with us. So before we do our visualization today, I wanted to show this picture. This is a very interesting picture. This kind of shows how we're multidimensional beings of light. There's the chakras running through, right? So it's very important that we have alignment. And so our chakras are all open and they're spinning. And so our chakras are like, we have our crown chakra, our third eye chakra, we have our throat chakra, we have our heart chakra, our solar plex chakra, our sacral chakra, and our root chakra. And so when we're rooted in the earth, when I say let's have grounding, let's ground ourselves, which means that you grab your knees, you imagine your feet firmly planted in the earth's surface. You imagine your feet firmly planted in the earth's surface, and you ground yourself and you be in this moment. When you're in this moment and you imagine your destiny, you can quantum leap. You're letting go of a breath. You're releasing any old thought attachments. So we want to ground ourselves. We want to have patience, right? We want to let go of any old attachments. We've left all the old attachments on the side of the road, right? We've left the matrix. We're in this higher consciousness. We're forgiving others. Now, maybe you're coming from a place that you woke up this morning and you said, I don't really feel so good. And I say to you, go to that and figure out why, like what's going on with you. Because the quicker we figure that out, the less chance that we become ill, or we're vulnerable to negativity, or we're vulnerable to being sick, right? So we want to come from a place where we're having personal happiness and serenity and calmness and peace. And how do we get that? Well, we can go out into nature and we can just spend some time in nature, 5 to 15 minutes every day. If the sun's out, spend time in sunshine. Like-minded beings, loving yourself, self-love, unconditional love for yourself and others, and forgiveness. And you know what? It's not easy. It's not easy. Accepting yourself for everything, even if it's something that you're shameful of, even if it's something that was naughty, if you did anything naughty, you have to accept yourself. Because the only way you're going to reach your destiny is to unblock yourself. Now, when I speak of what I do, I'm an intuitive coach. And what I do is I guide people to their destiny and to their truest potential. And so the first thing that I do is I tune into them. I see whatever issue that they have, and I go right to that issue and to that memory. Why do they still have this issue? It might be from their childhood. It's because they didn't look at it, because it gave an imprint on them. They had an emotional, traumatic imprint, and they don't want to look at it. So you want to go to it and you want to just embrace it. Now, maybe it's something that you feel that you did that was not good, and you feel very shameful of it. You still want to embrace it, because that's the only way you're going to unblock yourself. When you unblock yourself, you can quantum leap to your destiny. You want to keep your eye on the prize. Now, as I say, we all know for a while, as we tune into all of our thoughts, our words, our actions, our emotions, our feelings, and our clairsenses, it's going to feel like we are walking around with our eyes closed. We're seeing in the dark, like an owl does, because it's unknown to us. We've never had this. We've never been allowed to really have free thought, free expression. We've never been allowed to tune into ourselves. We've been told, shh, shh, quiet, quiet. Oh, don't think about that. Oh, is that a bad thought? Okay, stuff it away, put it away. No, embrace it. Embrace all of you. We all have duality within us. We all have good and bad. It's about finding balance. It's about balance. It's balance between the two. So let's do a ball of light. I want to do a ball of light. So anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so we're going to do a ball of light, and then we're going to do a visualization because we're getting towards the 1 hour and 30 minutes. Thanks everyone who's joining us. Deanna and Raymond and Humano and Alexandra and Joe Hollywood and Garrett. Thank you all for joining us. So we're rubbing our hands together. We're taking away from our body. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and do the ball of light. Because why? Because a ball of light is energy. We're bringing light onto this earth. And we are creating thoughts, which are a vibration. Okay, so we're putting our hands together, rubbing them. We take them. We usually feel some kind of vibration on our palms, right? See? And so then if you feel like it, you want to make a cup, cup your hands. And so this ball of light on the earth, we're bringing light here into this physical reality. I've spoken about how this is helping with your concentration and your focus. And also, we're getting some kind of information like, wow. So, wow, I'm really feeling a lot of, it's like a little bit of, when you stick your finger in the electrical current, that's what it feels like. So, I've brought this up, the ball of light, because it's a way of really tuning into your senses. And if you've taken any medication, I've said to you that it's going to be more difficult to feel anything on your hands. So this ball of light that I have right here, I want you to either imagine this light right here. Hey, firstborn, light and love from Tanika. Oh, yes. Hi, from Detroit. Thanks for joining us. So this ball of light, maybe you want to imagine yourself in the ball of light. Maybe you would like to imagine yourself outside the ball of light, or maybe just hold the ball of light and close your eyes. And what are you sensing around the ball of light? Because it is energy right here. So if you want to bring it closer to yourself, farther away, if you want to just sit here and see, are you receiving any information? Last week I had remote viewing. I saw a man at a television station, and he was talking about the earth, and he was talking about nature, and it was black and white. And then I also had another man, it's a different man, speaking to me. I didn't ask them where they're from, so I'm going to ask whoever comes through today where they're coming from. Is it past, present, or future? So I also had this man on the right. I could see him on the right of the ball of light, and he was telling me that it was too big a ball of light and to get rid of it. He didn't like it. So they're both in the matrix. Are any of these beings coming to me remotely outside of the matrix? Well, let's find out. So let's see so I'm going to imagine this ball of light taking up space in this room that I'm in. And I'm going to be standing next to the ball of light. I'm going to see what I receive. So do I receive any information? Let's see. So let's all do this together. Let's tune in. Now, maybe the ball of light, you're just doing this so that you can work on your intuitive abilities. Maybe you're doing this to see if you get any kind of impressions or telepathic information. So let's see. So here's the ball of light. And I'm going to be standing next to the ball of light, or it's in front of me. What am I receiving? Which one is it? Pick one. So I'm going to be standing next to the ball of light. So the ball of light is that big, and I'm next to it. It's interesting. So I'm seeing above the ball of light, I'm seeing yellow, white, and then I started to see the inside of the tower, of the angel tower. So I'm getting an energy that's trying to block me from doing this. Bye, Deanna. Bye, Raymond. Okay, bye. Bye, Raymond, not bye, Deanna. So I'm getting the same man. I want to say he's masculine. Same man last week is now trying to talk to me. And he is talking to me, and he's telling me he doesn't like this ball of light. He doesn't like when I do this ball of light. Let's see if I can get a conversation going with him. So he's going inward, back and forth, like he's hiding, then he's coming out, then he's hiding. So whatever I'm doing with this ball of light, when I visualize it in another location, in another realm, it seems to be really annoying him. Okay, so I found out. So he's actually a spirit who's passed. It's someone who's passed. It's a spirit. Let me see if I can find out any other information about him. So wherever I'm putting this ball of light is actually where he is. It's almost like it's on top of him for some reason, or next to him, but he doesn't like it. Okay, so now that I'm talking to him in a much more, because he was yelling at me, this man, he was telling me to get rid of the ball of light. What's his name? I know, what is his name? I'm never good with names. I've shared that with you. It's never been my thing, but let's try. So the name came through Scott, but Okay, so I said, where am I? And he said, this is my home. So wherever this ball of light is placed is in his home. So I guess from now on, I'm going to just keep reconnecting with this person, because when I do this, this is where we're not person, he's a spirit. And I don't want to stay longer doing this because I've been doing it long enough. Listening to Mary. You're so funny. Okay, so this ball of light took me to a spirit, and his name, and I'm so not wanting to say the name again, because I feel as I always, that's the name. No, he's saying it's Scott again. So his name is Scott. So it's a man named Scott who's passed away. You might have a portal in your home. I do have a portal in my home. Well, I do. I have an angel. So whatever happened here, my ball of light seems to be in Scott's home. But as soon as I started speaking to him in a nice way, he started speaking to me in a nice way. So that's very interesting. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe. Hey, Tommy, I didn't even see you. Hi, how are you? Hello. Hi, Tommy. Good morning. Oh my goodness. I was doing this for so long. I'm putting my hands back together. So everyone today, wow, we had a lot of people today. So we're going to do a visualization. And I'm just going to say hello to everyone. Wait, why is that not working? So hello. So anyway, let's do a quick visualization, because we're at our 1 hour and 30 minutes and I have so much to do today. Hello. Hello, everyone. Um, so I just want to say how grateful I am to be here today. I want to tell you how grateful I am to have all of you in my world. And you know what? It's very difficult, even now, with people awakening, to find like minded beings or those that understand or want to kind of cover some of these topics. So I appreciate everyone who's joining us. And I'm sending you love and light. All right, so let's do a quick visualization because we're at an hour and 30 minutes. This is the longest I've ever gone. So visualization equals a peaceful, calm feeling, a mind-body experience. So you move past anxiety, you change and alter your energetic vibration to a higher frequency. So a visualization is a way of bringing light into your system, just like I do the ball of light. I'm doing this visualization because when we bring light into our system, we're actually practicing visualizing. It's helping us to understand how to work our intuitive abilities because we're working in our mind's eye, aren't we? Okay, so let's, blessings. Um, let's do a visualization, which is guided mental imagery in our mind's eye, bringing us hope, peace, and serenity. Everyone sit down in a comfortable position. Sit or lay down comfortably, everyone. And let's close our eyes. Let's release any tension that we have in our bodies. And so we want to do that throughout our whole entire body. We're going to let go, right? We're going to let go of any tension. We're going to let go of any thought beliefs, any thought attachments before this moment, right? We're going to let go and we're going to give a willingness to allow light to come into our systems. And we're going to have trust and belief in our system, right? We're going to trust and belief. We're going to have self-acceptance. So let's together inhale and exhale 3 times, okay? And I'm going to do it with you. So we're going to do this on a 12 count, and this is how we're going to relax our bodies. And we're going to lower our heart rate and lower our blood pressure, right? A good intention. Okay, so hopefully you've relaxed. So I'd like you to keep your eyes closed. You're releasing all your tension that's in your body. And so I'd like you to imagine the most beautiful nature scene that you can imagine. So maybe it's going to be a beautiful waterfall, a beach. It's going to be your personal go-to nature scene. A field of flowers, snowy mountains, a brook, an apple tree. Maybe it's sunlight on a body of water. Maybe it's a rainbow. So I'd like you to imagine this beautiful nature scene, okay, in your mind's eye, this beautiful nature scene. And you're going to, with all your senses, what does it smell like? What does it taste like? Do you smell the fresh air? Do you feel the sunlight on your body? Are your feet in the water? Is it on a beach? All your senses, what is it? When you touch it, what is it like? What does it smell like? All your senses. What does it feel like to be in this beautiful nature scene? So it's your personal nature scene. The vivid colors. Use all your senses. Now, this nature scene should bring you joy. Do you feel joy in your heart? Do you feel joy? So I'd like you to stay in this moment with this beautiful nature scene and own it. It's your beauty. Maybe it's a field of flowers. Maybe it's woods. Maybe it's a sunrise, whatever you think it is for you. I'd like you to stay in this moment and memorize it and have joy in your heart. And this is your go-to nature scene. Okay? So now I'm going to count backwards and you're going to open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. So that's your beautiful nature scene. It's for you. So when you're feeling sad, lonely, angry, you're mad, you're hurt, go to this nature scene, whatever it is. So for me, many years, I would imagine this field of flowers. I would imagine this field of flowers. And so let's say I was in a situation and there was somebody around me and they were nasty, they were angry, they were belligerent, or they were in a bad mood. I would imagine this nature scene, this field of flowers, and instantly, I would see these yellow flowers and they would be breezing in the wind, and instantly it would change the energy. The person all of a sudden would be like, what just happened? They felt it because thoughts are that powerful. They have a vibration. So it's a way for you to get out of that. It's like a little daydream. It's a mini daydream. You get out of that place of harm, and it also changes your body. It changes whatever's going on with you molecularly. So it will change you. Maybe you're in a place of fear if someone's in an angry place, and you instantly go to a place of calmness with your nature scene. So try it. It's worth it. So it will open your eye. You'll open your eyes, and next time you feel stressed or upset or overwhelmed, visualize your nature scene, and you will transform the energy in the situation. Maybe you want to practice it another time today, just so that you can remember it. Now, I've been going now to a different nature scene. I haven't been doing, I've been speaking about light on the horizon, right? A difficult situation will improve. So that's been my latest nature scene. I see a sunrise. So if I'm not in a good place, I imagine I'm looking through a window at this beautiful sunrise with the oranges and the yellows and the reds. And then I instantly feel better. Now, maybe you need to go out into nature so that you can kind of recreate this nature scene. But I'm suggesting that we all have a visualization that we go to this nature scene. So everyone, thank you for joining me. Today we covered topics like devotion. We spoke about cults and how seems like a big cult out there. 5G technology, nanotechnology, GESARA, which is canceling all personal debt, abolishing the Internal Revenue Service, and declaring world peace, and having new elections for presidential candidates and congressional elections, right? We spoke about premonitions and angels. And so I'm spinning light, and I hope you join me. Now, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'll be back again on Wednesday. I have an appointment tomorrow. I'm not going to be here. Spinning light, and you're in the middle of it, okay? But I'll be back again on Wednesday at 11, and I'm wishing good things for everyone. Everyone have a wonderful day in this Matrix Work Week Monday. All right, Hamano, everybody, T and Firstborn and Hamano and Raymond, everyone have a wonderful day.